Hi everyone, I'd like to welcome you to the University Place Garden Tour, sponsored by the University Place Historical Society. You're going to have a wonderful day seeing beautiful gardens, so let's go!
Hello, my name is Carole Henderson. I'm glad you've joined me today for a tour of my Japanese garden. Come with me to my happy place. The first thing we come to is one of my Japanese green weeping maples. Then I have lots of ferns and hostas, along with the dwarf mondo grass that edges the pathway. Heavenly bamboo lines the back of this bed, and it's graced by the variegated Japanese grass. And here's the dish rock that is enjoyed by the birds for bathing and getting a drink. It's along the side of the dry riverbed. The juniper is pruned in what's called cloud form, and it's important that we keep Japanese gardens pruned. You don't want them overgrown or getting out of hand. Things look better when they're small and compact. Down here is my garden bell that was designed and fashioned by my husband. Here's another cloud pruned juniper, a good sitting rock in the sun. This part of the garden is great for observing the birds as they come to the bird feeder and just watching the different colors burst forth at various times of the spring. And here we're going to my favorite spot in the yard. This is just a wonderful sitting spot for morning coffee or for afternoon reading. And I'm so delighted that you were able to come on this short tour with me in my yard. I thank you for coming along on the garden tour with me today, and I hope that you enjoyed it as much as I do on a daily basis.
Hi, I'm Dick Hutchinson. My wife Patty and I would like to welcome you to our garden tour here on Memory Lane in University Place. We moved in 2011, and we started updating the yard a little bit every year for the last 9 years.
This is a very formalized garden. It's a very nice garden for the house, for the lawn, for the view. Wonderful rhododendrons, nice even selection of trees and perennials.
This is the area of our backyard that we installed retaining walls about 8 years ago. It was just a sand hill with bark dust, and it needed terracing, so we invested in these walls, and then over the years have planted it with various shrubs and flowers, hydrangeas, some peonies, and the heavenly bamboo shrub along the fence over there. And then the row of geraniums and the row of boxwood just created a nice accent to that wall.
They've done a really wonderful job with the smaller size metal horse troughs, put them on casters so they can move them around the deck.
We've planted some peas and tomatoes and lettuce and other small vegetables.
The advantage of having them on casters is as the sun pattern changes, they can actually move those so they'll be in full sun.
We chose this so it was contained and practical and easy to manage without stooping over. We're real happy with the way these turned out.
The beauty of a garden and the smells. There's so many things that gardens teach us and give us great experiences. As you could see in the garden, the hostas and the hardy azaleas have grown quite large. My neighbors love to see them in the yard, and so I thought what better way than to propagate and to share. We found this great little 4x6 greenhouse, and it's perfect for our small space. It provides the opportunity to grow something and have a little space to keep it in, but yet it's integrated into the backyard. So as you can see now, I have azaleas and hostas. They will be housed in here over winter. And what's very nice about this greenhouse, I think, is that the roof comes up. So as the temperature rises, the chemical in the cylinder pushes half of the roof up. So there's a wonderful vent system. It just brings more play into gardening. So I'm excited. It's like a kid, like a 5-year-old has a playhouse. Never too old to have a playhouse.
Patty loves outdoor seating areas, and she loves to create little intimate spaces where 2 or 3 people can sit and have a nice conversation. We had a natural space up there, and then with the new deck we ended up with this alcove, and then the main outdoor living room, and there are more in the front.
From Dick and Patty Hutchinson, we want to thank you for coming and enjoying our garden. We hope you enjoyed your time with us as much as we enjoyed sharing with you.
Hi, I'm Linda Bird, and today I'm going to give you a tour of my garden. Come this way. We'll start with my enchanted woodland garden. I created this garden area for my grandchildren. It has a lot of frogs, and it has a little fairy village, and then it has a gnome village. This stream is about 60 feet long, and it's not natural. My husband and I have been working on it all spring to get the waterfalls and the water movement in it. And it's kind of a complicated system that runs on floats and large storage tanks to hold enough water to fill that large of a stream. We're going to walk along the side of the house. You'll see pots of the begonias that I have wintered over. They're getting ready to bloom. This is called Irish moss, and I use it as a ground cover. It spreads easily, you can walk on it and not hurt it, and it keeps the weeds down. Then we go to a 5-foot strip along the side of the house where I'm growing clematis. I've taken fishing wire to help guide it so that it spreads out along the house and it's less prone to mildew and black spot. Now we're around to the water side of the house where I have a small rose garden. Over here I have more of the iris, and these iris are yellow, and then a variegated purple and white. Right here I have a spectacular yellow climbing rose. This bed has delphinium, rhododendrons, peonies, black-eyed Susan, more delphiniums, lupine, just a lot of bedding perennials that do well in the Pacific Northwest. The arbor will be covered with clematis in a month or so. Now we're going on the lower level of my garden. This is the sunniest area, so I put plants here that really can tolerate the sun well. I have an Exerby azalea, bachelor buttons, hardy fuchsia, a lot of chrysanthemums, plants that want and love the sun. Thank you so much for coming, and I've been delighted to show you my garden.
Hello, I'm Dani Griswold. Welcome to the 35 House. We are a full-time vacation rental in University Place, Washington at Chambers Bay. We're proud to present our garden for the University Place Garden Tour, which benefits the University Place Historical Society. Come on, I'll show you the garden. The South Garden is among my favorites. It's a 4-season garden. The conifers and fir trees give it a lot of structure. And there's also a lot of perennials in here which are great for us because we use them as cuttings for our guests and bring flowers into the courtyard and bring flowers into the house. We love the mid-century design and the sight lines. From the front, you can see the backyard. From the backyard, you can see the front yard. And this is our courtyard. This is where we spend most of our time hanging out, and we'll barbecue, hang out with friends, and relax. My favorite part of our courtyard garden is, of course, our 70-year-old catalpa tree. It's beautiful and it's just beginning to leaf out. The previous owners told us do not let any leaves fall and then have it pruned. And we didn't know what kind of tree it was, so we were trying to hire somebody to come out and look at our tree. I did send in a picture to Cisco Morris. I stumped Cisco, and he had to eat extra Brussels sprouts because of that. The guy who came out told me what kind of tree it was. It's a catalpa tree. We believe it's 70 years old, and it's starting to get a little bit fragile. We're really trying to conserve this tree. Around Halloween of every year, the big leaves will start falling from the tree, and then we hire a professional to come in and cut it back so there are 0 leaves on the tree. And throughout the winter, the tree looks very, very ominous in the backyard with no life on it whatsoever. And then by April 15th, right around tax time, and you lose all hope, you'll start to see little sprouts. And this is 1-month growth. At 2-month and 3-month growth into July and August this summer, this whole courtyard will be shaded by this tree and the leaves will be this big. Thanks for stopping by the 35 House. We hope you think our garden's a hit.
Hi, I'm Yvonne Reichen,
And I'm Sam Reichen. Welcome to our home.
and this is our secret garden. I would love to show you around. When you enter, you're coming down the switchback, which used to be a dirt hill, and I wanted wheelbarrow access, so we invented the switchback. This portion of the yard, when we bought it, was a bramble of junipers and blackberry vines. And we started from scratch with big clippers and chopped our way through. Well, the design of my yard was all my husband's thinking. He's very artistic, but he's also really good at building. He would generate the idea and then I would fill it in with plants. A garden is never finished. It's a process. And so sometimes I plant something one place and it either doesn't thrive because of the sun it gets, or it gets too big and then I have to divide. I love flowers, and flowers are a guiltless pleasure. The color, the beauty, the intricacy of the designs, the differences. I have a lot of hostas because I have a lot of shade, but even those leaves have intricacy in their designs, and it's just a beautiful representation of creation. It's a time when I can just be in the moment, and all of the other stresses of our lives just melt away. The only thing I'm thinking about is that plant and the beauty it's giving me, or that weed and how it's gonna go. The first arbor we refer to as I Love Gardening Arbor, because when my husband built them, he carved hearts into them. The middle arbor was originally built by my son for my birthday present. This arbor has sunshine carved into it in hopes that it would shine once in a while. I try to make sure that foliage is varied within a particular bed. That's one of the reasons I like irises, because that nice straight blade is such a nice contrast to the foliage of other plants. I don't have a plan as far as, oh, this color would go good with that color. It's more the conditions. Would this plant thrive in that place? I've been told it looks like a park. One little boy said it looked like heaven, which really warmed my heart. I've tried to have plants that bloom at all seasons, so I actually have plants in bloom year-round. It's a real kaleidoscope of color. We have one more secret to show you. This is our garden alley, inspired by the cute little buildings in the European villages that we visited.
Little buildings are painted with nice, bright, beautiful colors. It brings back a lot of fond memories from travels we've had. One building here was actually built about 20 years ago as a clubhouse for our children when they were younger.
This one my husband built for me as a potting shed.
And then there's a lean-to shed on the house with sliding barn doors for storage of lawnmowers.
Thank you so much for visiting our secret garden. We hope you've enjoyed yourselves.
Yeah, thank you. Have a great day.
I'm Howard Dempsey, and I certainly welcome you to Memory Lane North, to our neighborhood, and to our gardens.
Howard's garden is what I would call an informal, densely planted, mature garden. He has lots of big trees, big shrubs, lots of interweaving of the plants.
Pretty much go with shrubs and vines. It's been blended together. From Pam's property to my property, you'd never know that a purist lives here and a naturalist lives here.
It's a type of gardening that I really like, but it is very labor intensive because with that kind of a garden, what you have to do is kind of try to keep it in check.
It's a horrendous challenge. When I moved down here, there were only 2 plants in my yard. Everything up from here to the railroad track was wilderness. So consequently, you've got to terrace it, then you've got to start gardening it, and then of course the deer move in, and as you can see, Pam's vegetable garden is totally fenced. Next to the road, that used to be just all ivy, and then we decided that we wanted to beautify it a little bit. In this environment, you see something new every day. I absolutely like color. You'll see that there are a lot of fuchsias. The hummingbirds and the bees are just thick on them. I like Japanese maple trees because they have so much art in them. I like vines, mainly because Pam's clematises are so beautiful. It's a natural stream. There was no pond there. I put the pond in. It has stayed natural in its own way. The bridge is county bridge. It's inspected every 2 years. I've gargoyled it mainly because I got tired of just looking at a plain old bridge. I do like Manx cats because they are the dog of the cat world. They'll follow you any place. Obviously, the environment invites mice and other rodents. I never have mice and other rodents. They're happy to do the job. I think I've got a hobby because I enjoy getting up and I enjoy working on the things that are in the neighborhood and in the garden. This is the most wonderful place in the world.
So now you've been to the University Place garden tour, and I know you are filled with ideas to take home to your own gardens, and you're anxious to get to work. Thank you very much for watching.